Hello, and welcome to The Bridge, the TV show that features happenings around the Woodbridge Township School District. I'm your host, Darren Soretto. Today's episode is themed New, and will feature new spaces and new programs around the Woodbridge Township School District. In the studio today, we have Superintendent Dr. Zaga for his first appearance on The Bridge to discuss what's new in our schools. Then we'll feature the new tech culture in our high schools with a trip to John F. Kennedy Memorial High School. In sports, Anthony Hine will be out and about learning about the new soft lacrosse program coming soon to our elementary schools. Finally, our music segment will feature our newest high school music elective, percussion, with 3 percussionists from JFK High School. It's a full show, but before we welcome our first guest, we always like to feature the artwork here on our set. Today, we're featuring edible artwork from the new advanced culinary class at Woodbridge High School. Students in this class, taught by Miss Natisha Versick, participated in many events and challenges throughout the semester, including a tiered cake challenge, cupcake wars, a senior citizens banquet, open house Valentine's themed refreshments, and a smoothie competition. Our first piece is a topsy-turvy candy explosion cake made by Yasmin Rodriguez, Jacqueline Ortiz, and Jada Bowie. This beautiful cake was entered in the Tiered Cake Challenge. Students worked in groups of 2 and 3 and developed a cake theme. Then students sketched their cakes, drawing logos or designs, noting the colors and types of icing they would use, and listing decorations needed. Students made each cake tier, inserting dowels in the lower cake for stability. They worked on their cakes for about a week and a half. On the final day, the cakes were displayed, and Woodbridge High School staff members were invited to vote for the winner. It almost looks too good to eat. Maybe they could invent a bridge-themed cake. We'll have to work on that for next time. The next photo shows all the submissions in the Cupcake Wars competition. Starting from far left, clockwise, there is a banana French toast cupcake made by Alyssa Engelbrecht and Eliza Abreu, a salted caramel cupcake by Robbie Martin and Jaden Catalano, a red velvet cupcake with cream cheese icing and a handmade chocolate Woodbridge High School graduation hat by Miki Guzman, Joey Palmer, and Diana Sousa, a mint chocolate chip cupcake by Jada Bowie, Yasmin Rodriguez, and Kayshawn Glover, and a chocolate peanut butter cupcake by Zoe Nalepa and Talik Bosquez. In this competition, students had to design the cupcake flavor and complementing icing. They also had to choose an attractive way to decorate it. Their cupcake needed to look like a bakery cupcake. Woodbridge High School staff volunteered to sample the cupcakes and choose a winner. That was so nice of them. I think I'm going to ask for a transfer to Woodbridge High School too, just for the tasting perks. These cupcakes look delicious. The winner of this competition was the Banana French Toast Cupcake. Congratulations, Elisa and Eliza, on this delicious accomplishment. Remember, be creative and submit your own artwork through your art teacher. Your work could be featured on the next episode of The Bridge. Now, a quick break, and then we'll be back with Dr. Zaga in the studio. Welcome back to The Bridge. You're here with Darren Soretto, and I'm welcoming Dr. Robert Zaga. Dr. Zaga, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Darren. My pleasure.
So I'm not sure if you knew this, but today is Johnny Appleseed Day.
I've heard, yes.
So, an apple for the superintendent?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Kind of fitting because, we're planting seeds for the future, right? And there's a famous quote that says, whatever good things we build end up building us. So to lead into that, what new things are we building in Woodbridge Township School District?
Well, we are building a whole lot. We're proud to say that we opened Ross Street School, elementary school, in September on time. That replaced a building that was built in 1920. Wow. So it would have been its 100th birthday this year. Needed updated. So, and that was part of a referendum that the district did in conjunction with the town a couple of years ago, and that got built pretty quick. People may not realize that this is just phase 1. That was completed. What you see now on School Street, there is phase 2. The older building still remains. That will be demoed, and there's another whole wing that will be built on that. That'll include band room, chorus room, and a full-size gymnasium
That's great.
with a stage. So it'll be great for not only the Ross Street community, but for the entire Woodbridge Township community.
Certainly. Oh, the demo will be interesting to watch happen.
So hopefully that was supposed to get done over the summer. There were some snags, but right now they're doing bits and pieces of it, but the major tear down of the building will be for the November break week, the first week in November.
Great.
So we expect that building to be down, and hopefully they'll start the construction of the new part before Christmas.
Great. And looking forward to Woodbridge Middle as well.
Woodbridge Middle, not so lucky. You know, they ran into some unforeseen delays there, and but the contractors reassure us that that building will be ready by the end of October. So we're hoping either right before or right after the November break, Woodbridge Middle will be back there. And then that's also a two-phase project.
Okay.
So there will be still some rooms under construction at Woodbridge Middle when the students go back.
Okay.
But that should be a pretty quick turnaround.
Great. Work in progress.
Yes.
Looking forward to it. Thank you. So can you also tell us about any new programs that are happening in the district?
Sure. We had an engineering program at Colonia High School that was very popular. We decided to expand that to Woodbridge and JFK, so they will open their engineering programs this year. We're also happy to bring back something called structured learning experiences, which is similar to the work study program.
Oh, yeah.
Now we had last year we had about 1,000 students graduate between the three high schools.
Okay.
We're happy to report that 84% of them enrolled in college.
That's a great number.
30 of the students went into the military.
Okay.
The rest went into the workforce.
Great.
So, you know, in preparing our students for college and career, we want to make sure that it's great to have kids go in college. It's also great to have them enter the workforce. So the structured learning experiences will prepare these students for careers, not necessarily college, but careers after they graduate. So we're really happy to bring that back. And it's kind of like the old work study where they'll do their academics in the morning and then go out in the field in the afternoon.
That's great. They're all on different paths.
Different paths. We get the local employers to cooperate, and they'll actually get a grade for going to work.
Yeah.
Just like it was in the old days.
I remember the work study program. That was great because get people out there doing what they love to do.
And we're also, the other thing at Woodbridge Middle, we're happy to report that part of one of the electives that they're doing there is a TV studio. They actually have not quite this, but there is they'll have a full TV studio there where students can start working on different things with learning how to work behind the scenes in the studio.
Kind of like we have today, behind the scenes, we have our students here learning all about the studio and TV production.
Other things that we have going, we introduced 5 new electives at the high school level: history of sports, screenwriting and film production, piano, American Sign Language 3, and Google Gurus.
Oh, what's that?
That's a type of certification program through Google.
Oh, very cool. Oh, this history of sports sounds like that it's going to attract a lot of people too.
Very popular.
Yeah.
All very popular.
Very cool. That sounds exciting. New stuff coming up. How about any new administrators in the district? Do we have any new administrators?
We have a few. A couple came on last year. We have Mr. Chiara at School 18. We have Mr. Bronsdorf at School 25. Mr. Daly was hired at Island Middle School VP toward the end of last year. Mr. Pastorino, new principal at John F. Kennedy.
Yes, we have him on this show.
And also we have Mr. Ali as our district math supervisor.
I met him. He seems very excited about his new position.
Very impressive young man.
Awesome. That's great. I'm going to touch on, if you could touch on the dual enrollment program we have going on in the district. Sounds very exciting.
So this came about a couple of years ago. I have some kids who were we were doing the college tour, and we sit through the admissions lectures, and we were down south, and a lot of them were talking about dual enrollment. And I really didn't know a lot about it. I came back, we looked into it, and I have to thank Mr. Bader because he kind of took the ball and ran with it. We got involved first with Syracuse University.
Right.
And what happens is they'll take our teachers. First of all, the teachers have to have a master's in their course area.
Okay.
So if they want to teach history, they have to have a master's in history. If they want to teach math, they have to have a master's degree in math. They would go to Syracuse for a week, learn the curriculum, bring that curriculum back and teach it to our kids. Those students, after completing the course, would receive a transcript from Syracuse University, which is a little bit different from an AP course. AP courses, no matter how well you do in them, wherever you end up going, they have the discretion to either take those credits or not. Many of them still do, but some of them might not. And it's difficult too, because if you're a junior, you make your schedule in February for senior year.
Right.
Then you start applying to colleges, so you might you might get accepted to a school that doesn't take your AP Calc credits.
Gotcha.
So it's a tough spot for the applicants to be in. But the thing is, any dual enrollment course or AP course, when it's on your application,
looks good.
Certainly sets you apart from the crowd. So we're happy, since other than Syracuse, we've expanded to NJIT. We had a lot of courses in Middlesex, Kane, Rider, and William Patterson.
Oh, that's great, expanding to different colleges.
We're working on Rutgers.
Yeah, that would be great to get Rutgers in there, yeah.
Sure, and it's people, some people believe that if you take the Syracuse courses, they will only be accepted at Syracuse, which is not true.
Okay,
not
they
true.
Can go to different places.
It's a transfer course, so
but it looks good if they want to go to Syracuse.
Sure.
And I know Mr. Sakadata was on the show talking also about Syracuse. You know, he's very involved with that. We were worried in the beginning because we thought that the students might take more dual enrollment courses and it would take away from our AP enrollment. But over the past 6, 7, 8 years, our dual enrollment has gone up. Our AP enrollment has also gone up. Last year we gave our students took more AP tests than they have in history. That's great. Oh, great news. Excellent for kids going up to college. And last, if you could just touch on the attendance policy, the new attendance policy that we're rolling forward. Sure.
So the New Jersey Department of Education revamped their rules, basically, and they said from now on there are only 5 excused absences that we will accept. Just a little bit of background. As a district and as our schools submit registers to the state. Attendance is very, very important because it's involved with funding and other things. So we had 13 different reasons students would be excused from school.
Okay, too many.
The state said, no, we're only going to take these 5 reasons, and I wrote them down because I always forget them.
Sure.
If it's a religious holiday, take your child to work day, Veterans Day activities, college visits, which are limited to 2 per year, and if there's a transportation issue. So an illness, even if a doctor's note, is not an excused absence, or a bereavement day, a death in the family, is not an excused absence. What the state did is part of our school report card now for every school is something called chronic absenteeism. So they just take the number of students who have been absent more than 10% of the school year. So if the school year is 180 days, 10% of that is?
18?
Very good.
Let's go for that.
18 days. So anybody who is absent 18 or more days is considered chronically absent. If your school has a certain percentage of chronically absent students, it kind of counts against the school.
Gotcha.
Now, practically speaking, and I'm a parent, and and to all the parents out there, if your there are times when your child's sick, you keep them home.
Of course, I know. When my son's, if he's sick, you want to be home with him.
Right, and there are times you shouldn't send them to school because, especially when they're younger, they'll get everyone else sick.
Sure.
So, what the message that the principals are getting out to the parents, and we're trying to get out there, is no, we're not saying if your children are sick to send them to school. What we're saying is, use your discretion as parents. If you feel your children should stay home, you keep them home. The excused and unexcused is more of a bookkeeping thing. If your children are absent 40 or 50 or 60 days, then that becomes an educational issue.
You're missing out on a lot.
If you're 60 days is a third of the school year. So if you're missing a third of the instruction, will you be ready to go on to the next grade? And that's something that we put in the policy, that if you miss more than 18 days, we're going to take a look at, are you ready to go on to the next grade? But it's still the district's discretion to do what we do with those chronically absent students. And especially in high school or in middle school, if you get mono or if you have an injury, you might get to 18 pretty quickly. So if there's a situation like that, the district reserves the discretion to say, you know what, we understand, you did all the makeup work, you're okay, you can still get promoted.
Well, I know Mr. Bader had come to the elementary schools to really promote being in school if you're not sick. And it really made a difference, I see already in the new year.
Right.
And he's got an incentive, the NBA incentive, never been absent incentive with the basketball.
And we will be continuing that this year. You know, it's whether you're in a college or career or military, attendance is important.
It's important. You got to be there.
One of the things that we teach. You know, so we want to encourage the students to come to school. We want to. There's nothing that will replace your being in class with your teacher.
That's for sure.
Vitally important.
That's for sure. As a classroom teacher, I agree totally. Well, I know there's a lot of new things coming up in Woodbridge and continually happening in Woodbridge, which is wonderful. And it was so great talking to you, Dr. Zega. I want to thank you for leading us into the start of a new era in Woodbridge Township.
My pleasure.
And we look forward to all the new things that are happening and for a new school year.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Enjoy your apple, too. We have to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll feature the new technology culture in our high schools with a visit to John F. Kennedy Memorial High School. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Bridge. We've been learning about what's new in the Woodbridge Township School District, and now we're off to JFK High School with Principal Paul Pastorino to learn how high school culture has changed with the one-to-one Chromebook initiative and other technology advancements. Over to you, Paul.
Thank you, Darren, and welcome to John F. Kennedy Memorial High School, home of the Mustangs. My name is Paul Pastorino. I am the building principal here at John F. Kennedy Memorial High School. This is my first year as the building principal. However, I have been here and involved in this great school since 2001, where I began my teaching career a long time ago up in the English department. A lot has changed over the past 20 years. Primarily that change has been driven by the technology. Technology which our district has supported and infused into really all areas of curriculum that you find here in the school. Our students all have a device. They are all connected via a one-to-one Chromebook. But some of the most notable changes that you would see upon walking around our school is the infusion of technology into our art department. You'll see classes such as graphic design, even in our history of music classes. The students are connected. And when you walk through a classroom, you'll see that connection. That connection could go from some of our business classes where they're having conversations with CEOs from different types of corporations, all the way down to the local businesses here in the Woodbridge Township area. So we are connected, but we are also learning from a real-world example. And those examples are really what brings the curriculum to life here in the school district. But enough from me. Let's take a walk around the school. You can see for yourself not only what a great place this is, but how our students are using technology. Thank you.
For my first 2 years of high school, I think it was a big jump from my last years of high school because my first 2 years you kind of had to carry around a lot of books and notebooks, and switching from that to having a Chromebook just made it completely easier for me, especially when it came to homework.
Having an iPad in 8th grade prepared me for, freshman and sophomore year, because if I walked into high school while originally using paper and pen, I'll have a hard time adjusting, I feel like, because the normal is paper and pencil. But since I had an iPad in 8th grade, I feel like I was a step ahead, and I knew what I was doing, and it kind of lessened the stress in a way, because I already knew how to function Google Classroom and other websites teachers used.
I think the tech culture has shifted, especially since now that we have our own Chromebooks one-on-one. It definitely has made it more easy for us to access new information. Back when we had to get Chromebooks from our cards, we had to always reserve them. So we would have to, like, some certain days we weren't able to use technology at all. We would have to use our phones or just not at all. And I also think that since we have it on our own, we're able to use like Google Classroom and things like that. And it's making us way more organized, especially myself, because if I have everything in papers, I'm gonna also have to have folders for every single class, and it makes it a lot difficult for me to keep everything organized and to have all my assignments done on time.
If you could give new students coming to JFK a bit of advice about the technology, what would you give them?
I would say don't be dumb about the things you're looking up, first of all, because kids get in trouble all the time for looking up stupid things in their Chromebook that they know they shouldn't be looking up in the first place. So I would probably say that to the little kids first. And I also would say always charge your Chromebook, because if you don't charge your Chromebook and then you come into class, you're the only one who's not doing anything. So that's what I would say.
This is our new tech office with 2 of our 4 computer liaisons. However, did you know this used to be the school store when I started at John F. Kennedy Memorial High School, which predated 2001. And the school store is now online, speaking of technology. Now?
Good afternoon, my name is Mr. Toronto. I joined the Kennedy family 15 years ago. It's been a great ride. In the classroom, outside the classroom, we went from having 1,600 Chromebooks last year. Now we're at 2,000 Chromebooks this year for our staff and our community. Also involved with those Chromebooks, we have Google Classroom, Go Guardian. There's a lot of new information that's out there. The future's now. So now I just want to turn it over to Mr. McFadden.
Thank you, Mr. Toronto. Mr. McFadden, I've been here since 2007. I teach public speaking. I've been secondary liaison for I think about 5 years. The classroom has changed since I've been here because now the teachers are more facilitator, more so than the leader in the classroom, because the technology allows the students to have more student created lessons, more student feedback right off the bat. It also allows a lot of ease of access to information, from absentees to getting classwork all in one central localized situation, and also ease of papers and things for other teachers. Everything's online. You don't have to worry about losing a student assignment, or you can say who didn't turn it in, and it's made things a whole lot easier. And I'm looking forward to more technology in the future and what comes in the future.
Speaking of technology, do we need cell phones here at JFK?
No, because JFK provides with Chromebooks.
That's right. You don't need a cell phone here at this school.
Wow, times have really changed in our high schools, and it's great to see the increased efficiency and creativity available to our students and teachers with so much technology at their fingertips. And I guess, Mr. Pastorino, they really don't need cell phones in school with a Chromebook in each student's hands. Great policy. It's amazing to see what a difference a few years can make when it comes to technology. I'm sure the students are very grateful for receiving their Chromebooks. Well, we have to take another break, but come right back as our sports correspondent Anthony Hine explores the new soft lacrosse program. Thanks for coming back to the bridge. It's time now for our sports segment, and we sent sports correspondent Anthony Hine out to talk with supervisor Ron Weisenstein about the new soft lacrosse program in our elementary schools. Over to you, Anthony.
Thanks, Darren. I'm here today at Maubie Street School with Ron Weisenstein. How are you doing today?
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good. Ron, let's start off with, what do you do in the district?
I'm the district supervisor for athletics, art, phys ed, and nursing services.
How long have you been here?
This is my 7th year in that position. Before that, I was the athletic director at Colonia High School for 14 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We want to talk today about soft lacrosse. Can you explain what soft lacrosse is?
Soft lacrosse was brought to our attention from the United States Lacrosse in the Northeastern Division. They brought it to the attention of the Recreation Department, and they reached out to me. We had a meeting, and we wanted to discuss the best way to introduce it to our district, and we thought the best way would be to introduce it at the elementary level, right at the grassroots.
Interesting. So how many kids are doing it right now?
Right now, we haven't even started yet, because on Monday the 14th, we're going to have a professional development on a professional development day, and we're going to have the gentleman in to show us exactly how to do it, show us the equipment, which is all safe. It's very soft. That's why they call it soft lacrosse. None of the equipment can injure anybody. And we're going to start it at the elementary levels in phys ed classes. So hopefully we can get all the schools on board.
Very interesting. Sounds great. Sounds like a fun time.
Yeah.
So what do the future plans look like then?
Well, ultimately we want to start it at a young level first, just to gauge the interest of the township. And then once we get the young students involved, and as they get older, we could introduce it maybe to students when they're older, and we can go from there. Right now, long-range plans, we really haven't even thought that far ahead because we want to just get it going from the ground level first. But, ultimately in, a few years, maybe it could become a sport.
Sounds great. Well, thank you very much for your time, Ron.
My pleasure.
And back to you in the studio, Darren.
Great interview, Anthony. And it looks like our physical education teachers are really getting ready to introduce this new sport in the elementary schools. I'm very excited to see it happen. Now we have to take a quick break, but come right back as I join some of our new percussion class students for a performance. Welcome back to The Bridge. I'm Darren Soretto. Just out of the studio, I ran out and threw my green on to be here at JFK with the percussionists. Hey guys, how are you today?
Doing good. How about you?
Good. So can you tell us your names and what grade you're in?
I'm Sanja and I'm a senior.
Nice to meet you, Sanja.
I'm Brian, I'm also a senior.
Awesome.
Elizabeth Klimek, senior.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the bridge today.
Yeah.
You got your green on too, so that's great.
Of course. Mustang pride.
Yes, that's right. Let's start by, can you tell me how you got involved in percussion? Like what made you really love percussion instruments?
I mean, I know for me, when I was in elementary school, I used to play trumpet for 2 years. But then my dad really wanted to push me to start playing drum set and get into that.
Okay.
And then I really just started liking it after that. So I told my middle school band teacher, I'm like, I used to play trumpet, but let me play with percussion kids.
Great, that's awesome. Brian, how about you?
For me, I started in 4th grade. I really had no external factors that made me start playing percussion, but I just decided to do it. It was like 4th grade, you choose what instrument you want. I chose percussion, and I stuck with it since.
Great. And Liz?
My dad actually played for a while, and it kind of just rubbed off on me. I played ever since I was 5 years old.
Wow.
Started playing drum set, and then as we came into high school, started playing snare.
That's awesome. Great. Now, what's your favorite percussion instrument? I know you all must have a favorite to play.
For me, it's the drum set, 'cause that's what I've been playing all this time.
Okay.
That's why I started learning off of in the beginning, so it kind of just stuck with me the most.
Okay. Brian?
For me, it's probably the marching snare drum. I mean, I didn't start off playing that. I started playing at my sophomore year, but since that, I feel like I've enjoyed it more.
Very cool. And Liz?
I like playing snare the most because I like the precision and how it's competitive and everything like that.
Very cool. I know Mrs. Freeland, Offset, and me, our sons both play percussionists, so we know the joy of percussion instruments, listening to them. So now, this is your classroom. What happens in your class? Tell us what happens. Who's your teacher, first of all?
Mr. Cabrera.
Mr. Cabrera. I hear great things about him.
Of course. He's such an amazing person.
That's what I hear, too. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what class is like?
So really what happens is, before you used to have all the wind instruments and all the percussion players all in one class. And what would happen is a lot of times they'd be focusing on the wind instruments, and the percussionists would kind of just be sitting in the back. They wouldn't be doing anything for the majority of the class. So Ms. Cabrera decided to make a separate percussion class so we could focus all on learning how to play percussion correctly with the correct technique. Because a lot of the other times we never really learned how to properly play the instruments.
Great.
So then he decided that we could do that. It's a lot more productive, and then times we'll get with the wind instruments, and then we'll practice our pieces for the concert.
Right. So kind of isolate you guys with just percussions. That's great. Great idea. And I have to ask you now, if you don't follow the rules, are there repercussions? Sorry, had to put it out there.
Of course there are.
Oh, it's so funny.
No, I'm sure he's a great teacher, and so glad to have you in this class, I'm sure. Well, I'm going to go now. Do you have any personal interests for music? Who do you like to listen to? Brian, you want to start?
I mean, I listen to a wide range of music. I kind of go into different artists depending on what I feel like listening to. If I feel like listening to a drum set type of piece, I'll listen to different artists such as like Thank You Scientist or System of a Down, stuff like that.
Okay. Liz, you have a favorite?
I listen to a lot of different types of music, depending on what I'm doing, especially like I also play soccer, so if I want to get pumped up or hyped up, listen to more hard stuff.
Awesome. And how about you, Sanjay?
Same thing with these two. I just listen to pretty much anything. Like normally, I'll just turn on the radio, whatever's on, I'll just listen to it.
As long as it has a good beat, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we want to feel the rhythm. It was great listening to you guys and learning a little bit more about you, but we really want to feel the rhythm. You guys got something to play for us today?
Yes, yeah, we do.
Yeah? What do you have?
We got The Bridge.
It's called The Bridge?
It's called The Bridge.
That sounds like a setup. You must have known we were coming.
Of course we did.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. So we can't wait to hear it. Let's hear The Bridge on The Bridge. Wow, that was awesome. I think Mr. Cabrera wrote our next theme song for The Bridge. That was amazing. Excellent job. Percussion rules. Thank you so much for coming on The Bridge, and thank you for playing for us. We wish you the best in your future endeavors, Liz, Sanjay, and Brian. And thank you for watching The Bridge. I'm Darren Soretto signing off and looking forward to the next episode of The Bridge. Keep the beat and join us next time.